Welcome back to the deep dive. We're diving into Neymar's exit from al-hilal. You might be thinking, another player changes teams, so what?
Hmm.
But this one's got some twists and turns. We've got articles laying out the whole timeline, insider reports from Brazil, even financial analysis of the Saudi Pro League. So
Yeah.
let's get into it.
Yeah, the timing of it all is what's really interesting. So, August 2023, Neymar leaves PSG, goes to Al Hilal, right? Massive deal, 90 million. Basically, Al Hilal saying to the world, hey, we're here, we're serious.
Huge news for sure. But then things went south.
Hmm.
That knee injury during the World Cup qualifier back in October 2023, I swear you could practically hear the entire world gasp.
Yeah, and not just the fans either. Think about what that meant for Al Hilal. They brought Neymar in to be the star, to dominate the league, and suddenly, boom, he's out. He only played, what, 7 games for them?
7 games for that kind of money. Ouch. So when they announced the contract termination in January 2025, it felt kind of expected. Mutual consent, they called it.
Yeah, mutual consent. Sounds all nice and tidy on the surface. But you gotta wonder what was really going on. Was there pressure from one side or the other? Was Neymar unhappy? Were they already looking for someone to replace him?
It's like they're all playing poker and everyone's bluffing. But let's not forget, we are talking about Neymar here, the guy who broke transfer records with that $222 million foreign move to PSG back in 2017. Brazil's all-time leading scorer, 79 goals. He's a legend, injuries or not.
And that's what makes this whole thing so interesting. You've got this player at a crossroads, a club with huge ambitions, and a league trying to become a global force. It's a lot to unpack.
Makes you think about the bigger picture, right? Like, what does this mean for the Saudi Pro League? They were making waves, bringing these huge names. Does Neymar leaving, even after a short time and an injury, change things?
It's got to be a setback, at least for their image. They want to be seen as the place to be, where you can win and make history. But if someone like Neymar, with all his fame, leaves so quickly, it makes you wonder.
For sure. It makes other players think twice. If Neymar couldn't make it work, what chance do I
It's
have?
true, but you could also argue that this is just a bump in the road. Al Hilal is still a top team. The league is still attracting stars. And let's be real, Neymar's injury played a big part in this.
Yeah, you can't ignore that. Even at the highest level, sometimes it's just bad luck. And for Neymar, that injury came at a really bad time.
Exactly. He's 33 now. He's accomplished so much. But there have been setbacks, too. This injury, the short time in Saudi Arabia, it all adds up. Makes you wonder, what's next for him? Where does he go from here?
That's the big question, right? People are already talking about him going back to Santos. Imagine that, going back to where it all began. Talk about a storybook ending.
It would be, but would it be the right move? Could Santos even afford him? And would he be happy playing in a less competitive league? He's got a lot to think about.
It's not just about the football, is it? It's about his legacy, how he wants to be remembered, the guy who chased the money, or the guy who overcame everything, who always came back.
Now that's an interesting point, because his legacy is already pretty complicated. You've got the amazing talent, the skills, the record-breaking transfers, but then you've also got the injuries, the questions about his attitude, his commitment. This next chapter could define his whole career.
And this whole thing with al-hilal, it really makes you think about how football is changing. You've got these new leagues, like in Saudi Arabia, with so much money, trying to get the best players. It's shaking things up, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. It's like a huge earthquake. For years, Europe was the center of the football world. But now you've got these ambitious leagues with deep pockets challenging that. It's not just about the money either. They're investing in infrastructure and youth development, trying to build a real football culture from the ground up.
It's like they're playing a whole different game. And you can't help but wonder, what does this mean for the future? Will we see football become more global, with talent spread out all over?
It could happen, yeah. Imagine a world where the Champions League isn't the only big show. Multiple leagues competing to be the best. More competition, more excitement, more chances for players from everywhere to shine.
That's pretty exciting to think about. But let's get back to Neymar. What do you think this whole al-hilal situation tells us about him? About what he wants at this point in his career?
That's a tough one. Only Neymar knows the answer to that. Is he still hungry to compete at the highest level? Or is he looking for a more relaxed, maybe more profitable way to end his career? Maybe it's a bit of both.
Like he's at a crossroads. One path leads back to what he knows, back to Santos where he started. The other path, who knows? Maybe he moved to a completely different league. A chance to prove everyone wrong, to reinvent himself.
Whatever he chooses, everyone will be watching. Neymar's a global icon. Every little thing he does is news. He attracts So much attention, good and bad.
That's what makes him so interesting, right? He's full of contradictions, amazing talent, but inconsistent. You never know what he'll do next, and that keeps us all coming back for more.
You got that right. He reminds us that sports is all about the human story. The ups and downs, the ambitions and the setbacks, the unpredictable nature of it all. And Neymar represents all of that in a way few others can.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive into Neymar and al-hilal, what's the one thing you want our listeners to remember from all of this?
I'd say the biggest takeaway is that football is changing. The old ways are being challenged, new forces are rising up, and players like Neymar are trying to find their place in this new world. It's an exciting time to be a fan, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Me too. Thanks for joining us on this journey. And remember, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep that love for the beautiful game alive. Until next time.